I'd like to call to order the March meeting of the Bloomington Board of Park Commissioners. And Kim, could you start us with a roll call, please?
Kathleen Knowles.
Here.
Ellen Rodkey.
Here.
Israel Herrera. Here. Jim Whitlatch.
Here.
Okay, so we have all four members present. And first up in our consent calendar, these are items we always have a couple of days to look over in advance. Longstanding partnership agreements, some surplus, and just some sort of boilerplate things that we often see are smaller contracts. We have suggested moving A9 down to other business. That's the partnership agreement with Bloomington Football Club, because it does seem like we might have a fair amount of public comment on that. And so if we move it down to other business, we can allow for some public comment. So is that?
Do we need a motion for that?
Probably, yeah.
Yes, I'll make a motion to remove A9 from the consent calendar, and we'll move it down to C, other business.
Second.
Okay, and a roll call vote of all those in favor of that?
Kathleen Mills.
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey.
Aye.
Israel Herrera. Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
Okay, that motion is carried. So then now our consent calendar would consist of A1 through A8 and then A10 through A21. And do we have a motion? Yeah.
Take a motion to, or I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Okay, and a roll call vote of all those in favor?
Kathleen Mills.
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey.
Aye.
Israel Herrera. Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
Okay, so that motion is carried. The consent calendar is passed. Then we move into the public hearings and appearances, section B. And first up, we have the Bravo Award presented by Emily Book.
Sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. Emily Boot, Community Relations Coordinator, and the Bloomington Parks and Recreation Department would like to recognize Doug and Kathy Curry with the March Bravo Award. Doug and Kathy are a wonderful team who volunteer every week, primarily at Winslow Sports Park. They're also the Adopted Green Space volunteers responsible for Winslow Sports Park. Jillian strongly recommended them. She said they uplift whatever group they're with, and they go out of their way to be welcoming to new volunteers. She said their thoughtfulness, curiosity, and interest in nature make them ideal weed wranglers, both due to their knowledge of invasive species and their friendliness to fellow volunteers. They've also supported our new habitat connectivity project at Winslow Sports Park. It's a 10-week project that's been one of the largest volunteer-driven projects in the Adopted Green Space program. Their input and suggestions have been very key in this program, and as Jillian says, we love them. So have their certificates here.
Thank you so much to Doug and Kathy. And we always need more weed wrangling, so much appreciated. All right, and then we have a staff introduction in this section as well. Josh, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Josh Hinton, new to Parks. I was hired as a daily foreperson for Switchyard. I'm not a lifelong Bloomington resident, but I've been here for 40-plus years, so close enough to lifelong. I just look forward to trying to make Parks the best part about the city. You know, if I can do anything to help that, I will. So, thank you.
Okay, welcome. Yeah. Okay, and then let's see, if we move A9 down under our C business, or do we want to move it to the end of, I guess move it to the end where it's closer to our public comment section. All right, so then C1 is our partnership agreement with Bloomington Pickleball Club for pickleball lessons. Mark Sterner.
Good afternoon. Mark Sterner, General Manager of the Twin Lakes Recreation Center. As you know, pickleball's shown quite a surge here in Bloomington, as it has in most communities, and to try and help fulfill that need in the community, we've sought several meetings with the Bloomington Pickleball Club. We've met with them for the last several Fridays over a 4 or 5 month period of time. And we, in the process of that, have worked together on formulating a partnership agreement. So to be more specific, the Bloomington Pickleball Club was formed in October of 2022. The mission statement, we aim to provide a positive, accessible experience to our entire community. There are about 100 to 120 active members, and that likely has grown since the staff report was put together. This is a partnership to provide an opportunity to the Bloomington community to participate in pickleball instruction program not otherwise available, designed to introduce beginner participants to the sport as well as provide for skill advancement. And the staff seeks approval of this partnership agreement with the Bloomington Pickleball Club.
Okay. Any questions for Mark about pickleball club?
My only question for the pickleball club and even other organizations is, what is the pickleball club an actual legal entity, or is it just a group of people that have come together?
Hi there,
Hi.
Commissioner Whitlatch, Dan Sessions, Chairman of the Board of the Bloomington Pickleball Club. We are a 501c7 status legal entity as a club-based membership sport club.
Great, thanks.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
I'll move to approve the partnership agreement with the Bloomington Pickleball Club.
Second.
Okay, and a roll call vote of all those in favor?
Kathleen Mills,
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey,
Aye.
Israel Herrera, Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
Okay, motion is carried. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
And next up, Tim Street will tell us about a contract with Scenic Construction Services for the Griffey Dam Trail Crossing Project.
Good evening, Park Commissioners. Tim Street, Operations Division Director. Have before you tonight a contract with Scenic Construction Services that has been reviewed by the Redevelopment Commission, as that is the source of funding. This is for Phase 2 of the Griffey Loop project, as I'm calling it. We'll have a Phase 3 that is the actual trail work coming up soon. The amount is not to exceed $344,700. Again, this is from RDC funding. And this will construct the new Griffey Lake Hiking Trail access point at the dam and the trail across the top of the dam. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, any questions about this contract? No? Okay.
I will move to approve the contract with Scenic Construction Services for the Griffey Lake Dam Trail Crossing Project.
Okay.
Second.
And a roll call vote of all those in favor?
Kathleen Mills,
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey,
Aye.
Israel Herrera, Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Motion's carried. Thanks, Tim. And next, on C3, Clarence Boone will tell us about the contract with Marshall Security for security services at the farmers market.
Good afternoon, Clarence Boone, Parks and Rec. The Parks and Recreation Department would like to contract with Marshall Security to have one security personnel at the farmers market during the time frame of April 1st through November 25th. This contract will be paid out of the farmers market non-reverting budget line 201-18-6503-5399 and would not exceed $4,300. As for some background, the Marshall staff include current and former law enforcement officers and military veterans, and provided this service during the 2022 market season. The security personnel will be at the market for the duration of the event and will provide support to the staff in enforcing the rules of the market. Marshall Security has signed a sponsorship agreement with the department to provide $2,000 of in-kind services plus $500 cash in support of the Performing Arts Series. These in-kind services will come in the form of security at the farmers market, and the contract includes changes to the price per hour per officer and the dates of the market season.
Okay, and just to clarify, I know we've hired Marshall before on various occasions, but is this a little bit different in this sort of arrangement as a sponsorship? And
Yes, it is. It reduces the cost overall, and we've gone from 2 security officers down to 1.
okay, all right. Any questions other questions for Clarence? Okay.
Thanks, Clarence. I will move to approve the contract with Marshall Security for the farmer's market.
Okay, and a roll call vote, all those in favor?
Kathleen Mills.
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey.
Aye.
Israel Herrera. Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
Okay, thanks, Clarence. Motion carried. And next, Sean Marlar will tell us about the updates to policy 13040, Park and Facility Special Use Policy.
Hello, everyone. Sean Marlar, General Manager at Switchyard Park. Staff would like to recommend approval of updates to Park Policy 13040 concerning Park and Facility Special Use Policy. These are mainly cosmetic, formatting issues, consistency issues. There's one addition by the legal department that they asked us to place. Policy needs to be updated occasionally, and we're just looking for approval. Any questions?
Okay. And 13040 was originally developed in 1976, so
It's been updated a few times.
some things might have changed, yeah, okay. All right, any questions for Sean about this?
Is the addition 6 and 7 the temporary structures? Are those brand new then?
No, those are clarifications. The only thing that's new is the use and safety section, Section 8, that was added by legal. Pursuant to Indiana Code 35, 47, 11, 1, 2, et cetera.
Oh, right, that we talked about before with the firearms, yeah, okay. Okay, any other questions for Sean? No, okay.
I'll move that we approve the revisions to Special Use Policy 13040.
Okay, and a roll call vote of all those approved?
Kathleen Mills.
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey.
Aye.
Israel Herrera. Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
And next up, Haskell Smith has 2 contracts for tree removal and tree treatment.
Good afternoon, everyone. Haskell Smith, Urban Forester. The first one up here is recommending the approval of a contract with Bluestone Tree LLC for the removal of 9 ash trees near the sanitation headquarters and animal shelter area. The funding source comes from both my general fund and a fund from Public Works. These ash trees are located in just a wooded area behind the animal shelter and sanitation. One of them fell on the building, so we're looking to get them out of there before any more damage occurs.
And I guess my only question is, I'm a little surprised, so this is a parks area? This is owned by?
It's Public Works and Parks.
Oh, right, of
We're-
course, and they've
I mean,
already approved, okay.
Yep,
Sure.
and they've got a PO made for their half of it already.
Of course, okay, that makes sense. Okay, any questions for Haskell?
I'll move that we approve the contract with Bluestone for ash tree removals.
Okay, and our roll call vote of all those in favor?
Kathleen Mills.
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey.
Aye.
Israel Herrera. Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
Okay, and then Haskell, tell us about C6 as well.
All right. Staff recommends the approval of contract with Trees PLE Incorporated of treating 108 EAB infected green and white ash trees around various locations in the city of Bloomington, amount not to exceed $17,402, coming from my 399 general fund. The city of Bloomington has been committed to preserving ash trees throughout the city. We still treat up to, I think, 680 of them. This is a cyclical round every 3 years. We try to go through and treatment. This year's 108 areas: Bryan Park, Butler Park, along Alcott Boulevard, Fenbrook, Pinehurst Drive, and North College.
And are you making progress with the treatment?
Not so much.
Oh,
Know if it's
okay.
ever progress.
It's ever,
with
yeah.
ash.
Yeah, initially they thought it was a wave, and it turns out it's more kind of here to stay. We're trying to treat the nicer ones and parks to hang on to them for the longest we can, but we do lose a few every year.
Right, okay. All right, any questions for Haskell about this one? No, okay.
I'll move that we approve the contract with Trees PLE.
Second?
Okay, and a roll call vote of all those in favor?
Kathleen Mills.
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey.
Aye.
Israel Herrera. Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
Okay, thanks,
you.
Haskell. Motion is carried. And then C7 in this section is Steve Cotter will tell us about the contract with White Buffalo for the deer hunt at, no, not Steve, no? Oh, there he is.
Good afternoon, Steve Cotter, Natural Resources Manager. I'm here today seeking approval for the White Buffalo contract to do another deer hunt at Grippy this year. We're going to do it on the weekend before Thanksgiving and the weekend after Thanksgiving this year. The contract would be for $23,731. I think you may recall from last year that we no longer can get CHAP hunt funding, which is a Community Hunting Access Program. So we're taking it out of our non-reverting account, basically paying for it with revenues generated down at the boathouse. We feel that we're on the right track. We are removing deer each time we do these hunts, and the plant data that we're collecting indicates that the plants are getting taller slowly, but we still need to keep the deer pressure down in order to let these plants recover to the point where they can reproduce. We will be hiring Bruce Wild Security too to make sure that people don't enter the park during the hunt again, and we will have staff on site at all of the trailheads. We'll also put signage up. We feel that people are getting used to the hunts now, so it's not as much of a disturbance to people's hiking schedules, but we did have to turn a lot of people away on the Thanksgiving weekends when we've done it then in the past. So we hope that by avoiding that this time, we'll be able to accommodate a lot more people to go out there and hike. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I think that's a good idea. I know personally I've heard from people who had like guests in town for Thanksgiving, and if the weather was nice, they're like, let's go out to Griffey, and then, you know. So yeah, those seem like good dates, so.
Great.
So to clarify, it's the weekend before Thanksgiving, and then we skip that Saturday and Sunday after Thanksgiving, and then it's the following.
That's
Saturday
correct.
and
Yep.
Sunday. Okay.
So November 18th and 19th and December 2nd and 3rd.
Okay, any questions or comments for Steve? No? Okay.
I'll move that we approve the contract with White Buffalo for the Griffey Lake Nature Preserve deer hunt.
Second.
Okay, and a roll call vote of all those in favor? Aye.
Israel Herrera. Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Okay, that motion was carried. So then we will move, we have moved C9 down, which is a partnership agreement with Bloomington Football Club. And, I mean, we didn't have do we have someone to present it to us since, yeah.
Good afternoon. I'm Scott Peterson, the sports coordinator for the city of Bloomington. The Bloomington Football Club provides an affordable and effective youth soccer program designed to introduce the beginner participants to the sport as well as provide for skill advancement for the Bloomington community by combining available resources from each party to the agreement. The program will begin in March, which it has already, and will conclude in November. So our recommendation is to approve this agreement, and we invoice this type of partner after each month.
Okay. All right, and thank you for that, yeah. And then just since I'm assuming, judging by the jerseys, that we have a lot of commenters here, I just a little bit of background for people who haven't maybe been to a Parks Board meeting before. So we have a lot of partnership agreements that come before us for things like tennis lessons, baseball, hockey, soccer, all of that sort of thing. And what we're being asked to vote on today is just a standard kind of agreement for the Bloomington Football Club to use the space. So we are not here, I mean, we can certainly hear other comments about soccer and situations with soccer in Bloomington, but we are just here to vote on this particular contract for BFC to use this space. So, and then when we do allow public comment, we usually allow 2 minutes per speaker. So if you would like to comment on the issue, you can come up to the podium and tell us your name, and Kim Clapp will keep the time for us. So, yes. Yeah, how many, oh, right, how many people do we have who want to come up and speak? Do we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Okay, okay. Yeah, so come on up and tell us your name, please, and
would you also please sign in? We have a roster. For sign-in?
I'll actually refrain to speak last, but I can probably help to organize. I'm Joe Fuchetto. I'm one of the coaches at BFC and here on behalf of the club. So we actually would like to get some students. You'll probably, or some players, you'll get some expressions. Not so much of this this particular contract, which we've negotiated, we're fine with for the time being, but we certainly have some ambitions and plans for the future, and that's really what our concerns are. And you'll hear from some of our players, then I'll be back here at the end.
okay. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for allowing me to speak to you today. My name is Lizzie Buckland, and I'm a member of BFC, or Bloomington Football Club. I'm here today to talk to you about a few concerns that I have as a player for the club related to our practice fields. My concerns are for the quality of our training, both in our safety and the need to be able to train as a team on a field that resembles a game-like scenario. As a young athlete, I strive to take care of myself, both physically and mentally, so that I can become a better player. I'm also learning how to eat better, condition properly, and manage my mentality so that I can confidently play the game I love. These are the things that I can control in my safety as a player. Now, let me give you another view. When we're scrimmaging, balls stray and often end up in the infield, and retrieving them is like walking on ice. While doing drills and practicing our skills, we are constantly having to be aware of gopher tracks, small holes, and divots in the field. When you're running for a ball, it's very hard to see these things, and we shouldn't have to be watching the ground scared of tripping or getting injured. We should feel safe to play on our own field at practice. These are some of the things that I can't control. Apart from our safety as players, it is also important for my teammates and I to continue to develop our skills. The fields are flat and the grass is always well kept at a good height for playing soccer. We have space to scrimmage and practice our positioning, but the problem is that we can't practice proper spacing because the size of the field is very limited. This would be like a basketball team only practicing on half a court for a full court game.
Okay, Lizzie, if you can try, we went past the 2 minutes, so if you can try to, yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Okay,
Of the 2 fields we've trained on, the larger field is big enough to give us proper practice space for game-like scenarios, and this impacts several boys and girls teams. Our team likes to play elite-level soccer, and we proudly represent our club and our community. As we successfully compete with the teams at our level, it is very important that we have the ability to practice on a full-size field free from safety concerns. We believe that you can help us with the concerns we express, and thank you for doing what you do to give us good parks and recreation opportunities. Thank you for your time today, and thank you for caring about us, the future of our community.
okay, thank you.
Should I write my name on this thing? Okay. Hi, my name is Maddie Norman. I live in Bloomington and I'm 12 years old. I represent the city of Bloomington playing for Bloomington Football Club. The 2010 girls team that I play for is small, but we're good. We've won tournaments in Indianapolis and Ohio and have been ranked as high as 4th in the state. Our team has done all of this despite having to practice in the outfield of a baseball field since there are no soccer fields in Bloomington to practice and play on. Because of how good our team is, I've gone to play all over the United States in big and small towns. I've seen the fields other girls in other towns get to play on compared to ours, and it makes me sad. Our team is as good or better than these other teams, but they have real soccer fields with turf and lights, and I think, why don't we have these? I see the baseball fields the boys get to play on at Winslow and Twin Lakes. They look great. I wonder why we don't have fields like that for us. I see skateboard and dog parks in towns that are really cool. We have great basketball courts as well. My dad says the golf court is great, but I don't really play golf. I played in Ohio once in a small town that had a park like Switchyard Park, and they had a new soccer field with turf and lights and bleachers and a hamburger stand. I played in another one that had 2 full fields in a park under a dome. Why can't we build one like that here? It makes me sad that I'll probably be too old to play on a cool soccer field in Bloomington when we finally build one. I'm proud to represent Bloomington when we travel, and I'm proud of our team. I played with a girl in Arizona, and she said she wanted to come visit me and play in Bloomington. I told her we play on baseball fields, and it was kind of embarrassing because she lived in Phoenix and they had tons of great fields. Please consider building a cool soccer field to represent Bloomington as soon as you can, and we'll keep beating teams from Indy and Louisville and Cincinnati to represent Bloomington the best we can. Also, the little girls younger than us at Bloomington Football Club will probably be better than us. Please help them represent Bloomington by building them a great field before they also get too old to play on it. Thank you for listening. I hope we'll have some new fields soon.
Hi, my name is Avery Schwartzman, and I am a 7th grader at Jackson Creek Middle School. First, let me say thank you for taking the time to listen to the requests of me and my teammates today. Soccer is the most commonly played sport in the world that any age can play. Soccer is also a sport for both genders. Because the sport is so diverse, I think many people in our community of all ages or who move here from anywhere in the world would benefit from having soccer fields. Soccer has helped me improve my quickness, agility, learn communication, and leadership. Being on a soccer team has taught me commitment, and I have made so many connections. One of my favorite parts about soccer is the friendships I made. I want more kids, especially more girls, to have the chance to grow up playing soccer in our community, and I want the chance to keep playing even after high school. More fields in Bloomington can make this happen. There can be more teams, more ages playing, and more friendships made. Please help us get more fields so we can help more kids have more opportunities to play and have all the benefits of playing soccer. Thank you for listening.
Hi, my name is Paloma Martinez. I'm an 8th grader at Jackson Creek Middle School, and I've played soccer for about 8 years. I play for Bloomington Football Club and Cutter Soccer Club, and will be playing for Bloomington High School South next year. I also have a sister who plays for BFC, and my stepdad is coach. I believe that there aren't enough soccer fields in Bloomington and that there should be more in closer proximity. This is unfair because almost all other sports have nice and many fields and courts. Since I started playing soccer, I realized that there weren't that many fields, and the commute to Karst was about 20 minutes 3 days a week, which I think is kind of ridiculous and sometimes overwhelming. And compared to other sports, they don't have this type of commute. Once I started playing for BFC, it was nice, and the fields were closer. But the fields weren't actually fields. They were actually patches of grass that weren't even that well kept. So we played on baseball fields or inside Binford. To me, soccer means community and being able to play a sport I know and love with others. But we can't play as a community or a team when we have to drive far away and others can't always make the practice because of the commute. Playing soccer is also pretty hard when the fields aren't very well kept. I hope that we can make more soccer fields and be able to play as a team, community, and friends. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today.
Hi, my name is Ivan Glasgow. I'm a 9th grader at Bloomington High School North. My sports situation as a kid was pretty frustrating. I started playing basketball. It did not really click with me. My parents wouldn't do soccer because Karst Farm Park was too far away from my house. Then Jeremy Sweet started hosting practices at Alcott Park. This is where I was introduced to the beautiful sport of soccer. We were not a club team yet, but Jeremy was able to teach us the fundamentals of soccer. I watched BFC grow into the competitive club it is now, without ever practicing on a full field. I would not be the player I am today. Soccer has given me skills and friendships I would never have gotten without BFC. I now play soccer for Bloomington High School North. Though I may not benefit from these fields, I want future kids like me to have a place to play. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any other public speakers?
I'm Joe Fuchetto. I'm one of the coaches here at BFC and an attorney in town, and full disclosure, law partners with Jim Whitlatch. So, regrettably or not. But I can speak on behalf of BFC, and I think they're to frame these kind of issues. So, short term, there's some asks, particularly with field maintenance as it relates to Winslow and usage of the two fields there. Currently, we're on field 6. And we would like to, and we use some of the outfield of field 5. We've converted field 6 after years of back and forth into mainly soccer fields, although there's still grass coming in the infield of the baseball. We at times use field 5 in the outfield at Winslow. Ideally, we'd like to get more space. We have about 250 players across 10 teams plus an academy program. We also have waiting lists and more space. More space and capacity to have more programs, particularly a Sunday academy program. We look to expand that, get players in there on Saturdays and Sundays for youth and community, so there's a commute, and that would be largely the academy and then some extra travel practices. We do run both. Academy works as a recruitment and development tool, also provides a service for those interested in soccer at a very low price to come in centrally located into Bloomington, to not have to drive to Cars Park. For those southeast and even centrally located in Bloomington, given traffic patterns, you're looking at 20 to 30 minutes to go out to the west side, and there's 13 softball and baseball diamonds inside the city limits of Bloomington and no line soccer fields inside the city limits. So that's kind of our concern. We do have some longer term plans, and these are something that obviously fundraising in partnership with the city would look towards, and that includes turf fields and a soccer complex somewhere, although recognizing land in Bloomington is limited. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, it's Joe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, any questions for Joe about the partnership agreement or? Okay, all right, thank you. I think if we don't have any other public speaker, or do we have any comments on Facebook or?
If anyone on Zoom would like to make a comment, please raise your hand icon.
No comments. Oh.
Jen, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself, and you should be able to make a comment.
Hi there, my name's Jen Lau, and I've lived in Bloomington about 4.5 years. And it was really great hearing from all these kids talking about what soccer means to them. And I've lived all over the country in small towns and in big towns. And moving here, it was shocking to me how limited the opportunities were for soccer for adults too. So some of the young women there made this great point about how soccer, is a sport that's accessible to everyone, even old ladies like me. And but there aren't many leagues for adults here. And I think part of it is just there's not a lot of fields and a lot of accessibility. And so it would certainly benefit the youth, and that was awesome to hear about, but I think it would benefit, adult recreation as well. And yeah, so I'm in full support of more soccer fields in an accessible location. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. All right, I think unless there are any other public comments, we're ready for a motion.
I guess
sorry.
I've got a question for, yes, you. Is the agreement that's been proposed, is that agreeable? And if we approve it, the Bloomington Football Club will sign it? It's not a question. we're not arguing about that term, we're just talking about more fields, is that correct?
March 15th, there was approved Jeremy Sweeten, BFC.
Okay, all right. That's what I need to know, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, just say thank you all for coming out to speak today. I think it's been great to hear from a lot of students and glad that you're taking part in local government. So thanks for being here and making time for that. I will put a motion to approve the partnership agreement with the Bloomington Football Club.
And I'll second it and also say I thank everyone for coming out, and it looks like it's something that we have been studying and need to continue to study and deal with, and so we will, we listened and we'll take into consideration what you've said, and we will work with the Parks Administration to see where we are. So, but bottom line is, I second this motion to approve this contract so we can have that underway and you can get your 2023 spring and summer season underway.
Okay. And a roll call vote, please, of all those who approve.
Kathleen Mills.
Aye.
Ellen Rodkey.
Aye.
Israel Herrera.
Aye.
Jim Whitlatch.
Aye.
Okay. Motion is carried. So again, thank you to everyone who took time to comment today. That is the end of our section C, and then we move into our reports where Rebecca Swift will tell us about a report from ERAC, the Environmental Resources Advisory Council.
I encourage you all to stay. This is when it's really good.
Wow, don't take it personally.
I actually promised Denise it's usually under a dozen, so I walked out, I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to lie. Rebecca Swift, Natural Resources Coordinator. I'm here today to introduce our guest speaker, our recently elected chair, Denise Gardner, who's here to present the annual 2022 ERAC report. Every year we ask a member from ERAC to come and present this, and this year we have the chair herself, Denise Gardner. So thank you. And we have a presentation to pull up. Hi, I'm Denise Gardner, and I'm the new chair of the Environmental Resources Advisory Council. I've been serving on this council for 5 years now, and it's been a great experience working with the other 9 community members who get to hear from the parks employees. Rebecca, Steve, Joanna, Tim especially are always at our meetings and are great at sharing what's going on and accepting our feedback, listening to the kind of questions that we ask, so it's really been wonderful. So in 2022, we had 6 meetings, plus we were all invited to the Griffey Golden Celebration. And the annual report, I understand you've already received, so I will just kind of run through some highlights. One of the main topics we talk about are long-term restoration projects. And the first couple slides in this presentation are a wonderful picture of the Switchyard Park wetland and stream mitigation. This is where the stream has been daylighted. We've done a ton of, they've done a ton of native plantings, and it just looks wonderful. We've had a wonderful emergence of birds in this area, and I'm a birder, so this is one of my favorite new areas to bird. And other areas where they're doing these kind of long-term restoration projects that we've discussed at the council are Griffey Lake, a Lower Cascade stream stabilization, the Nature Preserve Prescribed Burns Project, the Griffey Lake deer browse study is also another topic. And the next slide is showing that Lower Cascades. Another topic we've discussed this year is the Bicentennial Bond tree planting project, where we received a report from the urban forester, and we also were able to review some of the contracts with the contractors who've done work and the plans and reports on that. And we're looking forward to the April meeting when we'll get to hear more about the continued inspecting of the city trees and more places that they're going to be planting new trees. So. Next is the goat farm redevelopment. This is a wonderful project on the south side and has been very successful in restoring prairie habitat. And the EREC has been involved in reviewing design plans, reviewing the native seed mixes that are used, and we're going to be asked to review interpretive sign content prior to production, which is something we frequently do. In our August meeting, which was at Olcott, we had a great opportunity to walk this property at the end of our meeting, which was awesome. Next is the Griffey Master Plan. We've been following the Griffey project all along and receiving reports as it progressed. And so wonderful, it's a wonderful site. I'm trying to rush through. So we're always consulted on the deer management plan as well, which is the next slide. And we enjoy hearing from that. Angie Shelton is on our council still, who's a longtime specialist on the deer population in Bloomington and always has wonderful contributions to the decisions that are being made. So we go on to the next one, which is the Loop Trail, also at Griffey Lake. This slide is showing some of the wonderful vegetation that's been coming up. The Loop Trail was funded through Bicentennial Bond, and we reviewed that trail all along, many different iterations of it, talked about some of the challenges that we're going to be faced with the topography there, and we have been able to view the parts of the trail that have been built so far, and it has been a wonderful project, including the opening that was the celebration this summer. Next is trail improvements, and there's a slide here for the Polly Grimshaw Trail, which is at Park Ridge, and the trail section east of Weimer Road that was donated. We've also been reviewing the plans for the Duke Trail and the kind of connections that can be made in that south part of our town. And finally, we end every meeting with kind of a discussion across all the council members of outreach opportunities. We're all involved through Sassafras Audubon, Kathy and Autumn through Monroe County Parks, but other members have all their own connections within the local environmental community. And we talk about outreach opportunities to work with children, to bring members of the community out to the parks to learn about environmental activities. So that's always a great part of our meetings. We always get a report on the weed wrangles, which are very popular. And Joanna keeps us up to date on the challenges around the city. It's never ending, but many of our members also take part in the weed wrangles. Boot brush stations were another topic this year, and we're very glad to have some new ones put into properties. And also outer spatial, which the last slide is another great project that they've been able to implement. So we look forward to 2023. We enjoy giving feedback to this group of professionals who are doing great work for our parks.
Thank you very much.
Any questions? You hear a lot about this, but.
Well, you do such a good job of keeping us up to date throughout the year that this is just a nice recap of great work done by you all, so thanks.
Yeah, and I appreciate that you discuss outreach at every meeting as well. I think that's wonderful. So, yeah.
Today was First Nature Day of the spring.
Yeah,
so
I
support my
see, yeah.
shirt. Well, thank you again.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Okay, and then finally, under the section of reports, Julie Ramey has the draft of the 2022 annual report.
Good afternoon. I'm Julie Ramey, the Community Relations Manager for Parks and Recreation, and in front of you is the draft of the 2022 annual report, and this is for your review and consideration as we do a last-minute check for any improper math or bad grammar, typos, and things like that. Do keep in mind that the annual report that you are looking at does contain unaudited financial data, and while Kim has a very detailed spreadsheet down to the penny, this this is intended to be an overview, so it doesn't have any cents as in CENTS. I don't use, I round up or down depending on the amount of change involved. So it does have all of the highlights from 2022, including participation numbers, and also outlines our biggest projects and accomplishments for the year. If you do have any comments about the annual report or find anything that needs to be added or changed, the deadline to get those comments back to me is the 15th of April. Then at your April regular meeting, I will be happy to hand over a final version of the annual report.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Julie. Yeah, looks good so far. Okay, and then I guess we do have our traditional just open public comment period at the end for anything that wasn't already on the agenda. I don't know if we have any other public commenters or anyone on Zoom.
Anyone on Zoom, if you want to raise your hand, if you want to make a comment?
No? Okay. All right, then back over to you, Paula, to tell us what's upcoming.
Board members, for your approvals and conversations and questions today. And yes, we will meet again in a month, April 25th, right here in this room. And I just would like to make a brief announcement that the Bloomington Farmers Market opens this Saturday, as does the Griffey Lake Boathouse. Spring's upon us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And with that, we'll adjourn the March meeting of the Bloomington Board of Park Commissioners.